phony smoke and mirrors game that's going on. Not falling into any of that. My Joint Information Agency staff, Power Industry Agency, the Minister for the Interior, and I've in constant dialogue on the subject since this thing has occurred, and the Grand Wazir and I on this since it occurred. We're not going for the sidebar issues and all that other crap. At the end of the day, the Gulf of the Amexem Haz-Mat event with all this oil that's involved thus far, the analysis that I see that makes the most sense is parties in a separate jurisdiction doing things by way of superior force or arms. These folks have effectively sown the seeds for this madness. Straight up, no chaser. Effectively, folks that supposedly doing some type of regulation were basically not on post. You can't tell me that you got 3,900 rigs in the Gulf of the Amexem and only 768 of them in a given year get a periodic inspection. You'd be begging for it. You deal with folks that have a capitalist mindset and they're basically all about profit irregardless of the consequences. Well, now there are consequences that we have to fix over time. As best as I can see from all the analysis and reports that I've been briefed with, the best I can come up with is parties in that particular jurisdiction aforementioned effectively allowed operations to go in the area where the technology to drill far outstripped the technology to deal with emergency conditions in deep water. We're not talking about 200 feet. We're not talking about 100 feet here. We're talking about a mile. 5,280 feet, more or less. Somewhere in that range. Point is, that is deep water. Once you start getting below, anything below 1,600 feet, that's some deep water. And folks apparently have let the technology for drilling get beyond their ability to stop this type of scenario. And you got the usual suspects involved. You had particular parties that strip so-called regulations from a so-called alleged jurisdiction that's just simply a corporate structure with some relators that's doing things by superior force of arms. These folks have just run amok. And now, sea life and life of us good old bipods is in serious jeopardy. Because you don't play around with water. Period. That's why I'm hostile to engines that are using fuel that is water based. I'm hostile to anything that has to do with the use of water for anything other than cooking, bathing, and growing food. It's a precious commodity, and you screw it up, there's issues. And since our body is overwhelmingly made from water, I'm hostile to anything that's a threat to water. I view that as a threat to all life on the planet. And while we're at it, I'm also hostile to any issue of so-called geothermal energy, where folks want to drill down deep into the earth to acquire the heat thereafter, they're from. I have a serious issue with that. We have no idea what the ramifications of these drillings and heat dissipation. We have no idea what would be the long-term consequences. I'm hostile to that, and so I would like very much to shut that nonsense down by any legitimate means necessary, in a non-hostile manner. I'm not a hostile man, and this jurisdiction, we are not hostile, but we're not stupid either. And since we know full well that it's difficult to say what the ramifications would be from dissipation of heat at the core of our planet, I don't want anyone fooling around with that, because I don't want to find out the hard way what the consequences would be. And I'm pretty sure you don't want to find out either, or anybody else. So we got to do better in terms of looking ahead for long-term existence and functionality on this planet. When you have a handful of greedy folks doing the pigmentocracy generation thing and their economic caste system that they bring along with it, all under the superior force of arms, and when you got folks who are their default benefactors and their puppeteers and the puppets that don't have a clue but go along because they're so happy to have a piece of the illusion, you pay a price for this. And you pay it short-term, mid-term, and long-term. Now, I say the Moors need to add up and kick in. I can't speak for the other houses of Moors. I speak for this one. And our environmental footprint, we're finding ways on a daily basis to make it smaller and still be economically viable. We have duties, obligations, and responsibilities to all of our generations thereafter from us, which means we can't be foolish today. If there's any house of Moors that wants to get down with the issue, all they got to do is give us a call. We can set up a meeting and get down to business. It's time that we make our presence felt in a productive, positive way on this and a whole host of other issues dealing with the affairs of man. It's just common sense. Either you're going to shape issues or be shaped by them. And in this house that I speak for, oh no, we're not going to be shaped by anyone's foolishness. We shape the madness around us. We engage in terraforming and choose the ground that we're going to defend on. Period. At all times. Know that to be true. So I thank everyone for coming out. Y'all are really good. I appreciate all the questions and the comments. They were really good. So with that, I say peace and love.